Calls to the Scottish SPCA's Animal Helpline are on the increase. In this series of Animal 999, the charity is taking us behind the scenes to show how Scotland's abused and neglected pets, livestock and wildlife are saved from harm and danger.
We'll probably smell him anyway.
Coming up, what has Connie O'Neal discovered in this hedge in Edinburgh?
I'm just going to lift it out to have a better look.
And Ali Hill has his hands full in Kilmarnock.
That's about the one I was looking for yesterday.
Wild foxes don't tend to live very long. 1 to 3 years is typical, although a few can reach the ripe old age of 10 or even 12. Most urban foxes don't live that long. The average lifespan is reckoned to be about 18 months. Around 50% of them are killed on the roads. Some people think they're a nuisance. Others love them in their gardens, which is why Animal Rescue Officer Connie O'Neal is here in Edinburgh.
Hello.
SPCA.
Oh, hi, come on in.
He's very emaciated and he's not running away, especially with the dog. But he's gone into the bushes and I've been out having a look for him earlier on, just before you came. But I can't quite find him, so I think I'll have to scoot to look around.
Ah, right, okay.
Find.
Okay, we'll probably smell him anyway.
Yes.
The problem is a fox can disappear into thin air, and although it's been here for 2 days, they're not watching it constantly, so they don't know where it's going in between them looking out the window. So it's quite difficult to see whether it actually has been here for 2 days or if it's just been back and forward for 2 days.
Connie and homeowner Jane are facing a search of the whole garden. But just when the task seems overwhelming, their luck changes.
It's an adult. We're not going to get in this way, we'll get in from the other side.
There's no way Connie will be able to grab hold of the fox in these bushes, so she needs to use her grasper pole to reach it.
We've got a young fox here. I'm just going to lift it out to have a better look.
The fox had gone into the bushes to die, but without a proper examination, it's impossible to know what's wrong with it.
Right, now then. She's very dehydrated. You can see on the fur how when I'm doing that should go back down automatically, but it's not. Oh. Wound there. See the maggots in that wound?
I'm very glad that we found her. I would be concerned leaving her in the garden for any longer in such pain.
She's not got much resistance because she's quite poorly. She's not got much fight in her. She's not got maggots in her mouth or anything. They're not coming out her back end. So rather than just put her to sleep and do nothing, I'm going to get her treated, kill those maggots. Hopefully the wounds aren't too bad. She's not putting up much of a fight.
Obviously been in great shape for a couple of days or so, I think. I saw her moving around slowly yesterday, and today it was obvious this morning that there was something really badly wrong, so it's great you could come out so quickly.
Normally, Connie would take the fox to the Society's Wildlife Rescue Centre at Fishcross, but it's over an hour away, and the animal might not make it. So Connie will transport her to Edinburgh University's Dick Vet School, which is much closer. It's an idyllic scene, a pond full of bird life in the middle of a housing estate in Kilmarnock. Animal Rescue Officer Ali Hill's been called here before. Yesterday, in fact, after a lady reckoned one of the Signets was looking a bit poorly. He couldn't see the bird she meant, so now he's back to check up on it again. And maybe it's just as well he has, because one young swan has gone walkabout at the side of a busy road.
How did this one get out? I was up yesterday.
This gap, they got up under this, I don't know if you can see over there, there's a gate also that's hanging off.
Right.
So they can get in and out from
I called for one yesterday that was a wee bit kind of lethargic. That's why I come out today to get another check in it.
Well, there's one, there's two that have been coming out regularly. You back up. One gets stuck in there yesterday. So.
When I go, that's about the one that I was looking for yesterday. The other 6 were swimming about quite all right, and the other one, he was a wee bit slower, but he was swimming, he was feeding. Right. And I thought, I'll just come out today and check it, and just when we were across there, I saw you with this and walking across.
No, there's two that have been coming out fairly regularly. Up until half an hour, there was 2 of them out. I didn't see the other one going in.
The Signet's been reunited with his siblings and parents. Signets normally leave their nests when they're about 6 months old. And if they show signs of staying put, their parents can be quite aggressive in chasing them off. These youngsters look as if they're almost ready to go.
He's absolutely fine. I mean, I can't stop them going out onto the road. I mean, there's not much we can do to stop them getting out on the road. So they're a bit bigger. I mean, as you can see, they're trying to get through the gaps in the fence just now. They're pretty tame with people feeding them. As I say, looking at the rest of them swimming about there, absolutely fine. The other 3's up on the banking. Yep, quite happy with that.
It's excellent. I've got a 3-year-old daughter. They love it. Make extra rice to bring it out to feed them, and no, it's great having them on the doorstep. Hope that nature progresses as it should, and they leave home safely when it's time to go.
Great watching them swimming across there. As I say, the one at the tail end, I think that was the one that the lady was talking about yesterday, but it's swimming, it's eating fine. We saw it in the grass. Absolutely no concerns about them. Good to see them swimming like that.
Animal Rescue Officer Connie O'Neal's arrived at the Dick Vet in Edinburgh with the very poorly female fox she picked up earlier.
It is quite urgent. I want to be able to get medication into the fox to kill the maggots while it's quite a fresh wound and the maggots are quite small. Okay, darling. She's still with us. Oh, she's peed.
The vixen is rushed into an emergency room where her treatment can begin.
You mentioned several wounds or just this one?
I think there's 2. There's one down the base, there's one here. There's no breaks.
In order to be safe, we're going to clip all this and then try to remove physically all those maggots. Hydrate the animal because it's pretty dehydrated and thin.
Very dehydrated.
But at the moment, I cannot find anything particularly wrong, which is a bit concerning because there has to be something debilitating the fox in order to get all those maggots. Sometimes when they have all this skin so sore, they've been run over by a car.
Yeah.
And they've been like dragged over the road, and then they all get so sore that maybe that's another possibility.
The vixen will be in theatre for about an hour, and if she survives, she'll spend the next 2 or 3 days recuperating at the Dick Vet. So there's nothing more Connie can do.
I'm hoping that she's going to survive this. I'd be very disappointed if she wasn't going to be healthy after this. If there were bigger maggots, that would have been more serious. I hope I've saved her life.
Still to come, Inspector Billy wants a quiet word.
Would it be all right to come in and speak to you about it away from the neighbours?
And will Connie O'Neal's little fox make it?
She's not reacting at all, which is not normal behaviour for a fox.
Yeah.
It's time to find out how our little vixen is getting on. After her op, she was taken to the Society's Wildlife Centre to recuperate. Staff called her Summer. After getting her vaccinations, Summer was introduced to other foxes in an indoor paddock. It was touch and go for Summer when she arrived. She was pretty banged up after being hit by a car. But she did really well in here, and 4 weeks later she was moved to an outdoor paddock.
I saw her shortly after she came in, and yeah, I thought, is she going to do or is she not? You know, it's one of those touch and go ones. But, you know, the girls here nursed her, got her back to health. She's now out in the paddock. She's looking good.
If her progress continues, Summer is probably only a couple of weeks away from release. Fishcross foxes are kept as wild as possible, so there's very little contact with humans. They only see staff at feeding times.
There's not in that one. Not there. Oh, there she goes.
It's a good sign that Summer and most of the other foxes are still hiding from Colin. They've not become used to human contact.
When we're dealing with our foxes, we don't disturb them much at all. So the only time we can check them when they're outside like this is generally during feeding times. So when we go in, we check under the beds to see if there's one hiding there. It's just to make sure every one of them's okay, they're not limping, they've not been bitten, you know, they're in good nick.
Food seems to be the last thing on Summer's mind right now. She's desperate to get out of the paddock. Another great sign.
She's testing the boundaries. She wants to get away. So she'll try and climb out. She'll try and bite her way out, which she's doing at the wire. She's a wild fox. She wants to be free. It would be wrong of us to keep her any longer than we have to. So a couple of weeks' time, once her coat's better, she'll be away.
Back at the pond in Kilmarnock, Ali Hill's just making sure all is well with the other birds that live here. It's unfortunate that the pond's next to a road. There is a chance some of the birds could be knocked down if they get out through the fence, like the cygnet did earlier. But there are no overhead power lines, and there's lots of grass and reeds for the birds to graze on, so they won't go hungry.
You can see all the different ducks, the swans, the coots, the moorhens, everything on here. Absolutely brilliant. Unfortunately, there's a road down there, but as I say, there's nothing you can do about that. But it's enclosed, they're left alone. You can see with the amount of birds on here, they think it's ideal, so a good bit. There should be more like it.
Two months after she arrived at the Wildlife Centre, Summer the vixen is ready to be released.
Summer was really in a right state. She had maggots, she had wounds. That cleaned up really well. The girls down the mammal block did all the nursing for her, and she's now fine. You know, she's nice and wild, she wants out. We've had to keep her longer than we'd like, but purely so that she's fully recovered, and, you know, today is it for her.
She's just really anxious, quite uptight. It's just really been enclosed that affects her. She'll hide away quite a lot. If she is disrupted, then she will act quite fiery and run about.
The team has released 25 foxes over the year, so it's been a busy time.
Yep, she's under here.
This is the final group that will be set free this season. Summer is first.
You can see all her coats grown back in.
That's it.
Cheers, LP1. Yeah, I mean, she feels good. Her skin, her coat condition and everything's really good. You can feel that she's put on quite a bit of weight as well. Even though she still looks quite lean, it's just the shape of her. It's a successful catch-up, but there's blood on Summer's face. Is there going to be a last-minute hitch in her release? She's got a wee kind of surface wound there. I think she's been maybe worrying at the mesh. It doesn't look anything too severe, but just give it a wee clean up and have a closer look at it. Obviously, we don't really get to have a full-on look at the foxes once they're in the paddock, as they do hide away and we like to keep them quite wild, but it's not anything too much to worry about, but we'll have a closer look. Thank goodness for that. Summer's been through a lot over the last couple of months and doesn't deserve a setback. Foxes are tricky to catch at the best of times, so Colin and the team have to use all their experience to get the rest of them into their cages.
The tricky bit is making sure you don't get bitten, but also you don't want to hurt the fox.
You want that round, no?
No, so I've got it. Okay. Got him scruffed.
You got scruff?
Oh yeah. I've now.
Yep.
Yep.
It's a lot easier if they're down in a hole actually to get hold of them, because then you can just, it's just the same as when you're catching them inside. You basically just wedge them and get hold of them, so it saves a bit of running around, so that's quite good.
Nice one.
Although Summer's face wound didn't look too serious in the paddock, it's only now that Sheila will be able to properly assess whether or not it's bad enough to delay her release.
She's a bit of a tough cookie, so I don't think this isn't really going to be causing her bother. I think it's more that she's enclosed and she just wants away now, that, you know, she's just worrying at the mesh.
That's a relief for everyone, not least Summer, who will shortly be taken to a secret site where she'll complete her journey of recovery. Even though he doesn't know it yet, this little spaniel is to be the subject of a visit by the Scottish SPCA. There's been a complaint that Angus has an eye problem and his owner isn't getting him any treatment.
Somebody's reported your dog is having a condition, an eye condition.
No, he's had his eye removed.
He's had his eye removed, is that what it is?
Aye, had an accident.
Would it be alright to come in and speak to you about it away from the neighbours? Is that okay?
Sure.
Excellent, thanks very much.
Turns out Angus had his eye removed about 4 years ago, after coming to blows with another dog.
My dad breeds dogs, so it's well looked after. What happened was, he breeded that dog and he gave it to some rich family up in Aberdeen, and they basically never looked after him. Apparently he was in a fight and he had sort of a bubble in his eye.
Right.
So my dad just removed the dog from him. He says we weren't fit to look after him. And then I was up one Christmas and he gave the dog to myself and my son to look after, so it could get rehomed. So.
Right, okay.
But it certainly doesn't have an eye condition, as you can see. It's had its eye removed.
There doesn't seem to be an issue with Angus's eye, and the complaint looks like it's bunkum. But something else has caught Inspector Billy's attention. Angus's nails.
I just tried even like a wee millimetre and it's still every time I do it, because he sits alright to do it, but then I just panic, and my dad says like when he's walking, going like that on the ground, that tends to...
It would if his nails were short to begin with, but when they're that length, they'd need to be cut down first and then you can keep them down. There is a bit of a technique to it, and you know, I would certainly advise either a vet or a groomer does it. And that way, you know, it's getting done professionally. You know, you're not going to get your dog hurted, and they'll do it in a way that's not going to distress the dog either. And you'll not get distressed doing it.
I was unsure before with regards to cutting the dog's nails and what's the best way forward, so obviously I can go and get them groomed now up in the retail park and they can deal with that. Other than that, they get exercised, they get fed and everything else gets looked after, so...
Lucky Angus. Sounds like he's going to get a bit of TLC. But there's just one other bit of advice Billy needs to give his owner. I
would keep an eye on that, just in case you get a complaint from a neighbour, there's some dry faeces in at that other door. You know, that you don't want any environmental issues or whatever. You can lift any dog step to get it. Yeah, just to keep on top of that if you can.
Just thought it was a sort of door-to-door inquiry, so obviously a bit shocked, but it's nothing wrong with my dog, as you can see, so it doesn't do any harm if people are professional, come to see your dog and tell you how it is, and any advice you can give is obviously good for you, so good for the dog.
Summer the fox has been taken to a secret location where the landowner has given permission for her to be released back into the wild. It's so secret, not even Summer is allowed to see where she's going. Actually, the blanket over the cage is to keep her as calm as possible before she reaches her final destination, somewhere on Tayside.
There's lots of bracken, lots of trees. They can go and make wee wallows down in the bracken, keep well sheltered. Because it is such a dense woodland area, they can be eating anything here. They can be digging up grubs, you know, seeds, anything, plus the odd bunny and pheasant running around.
3 other foxes are also being released.
Summer now will be really happy to be released now. As you can see, she's not been one to be kept in captivity. She's been through quite a lot, and I think she'll just be really eager to get going and continue her life back in the wild. He's ready. If I just stand over here a wee bit then.
It's the perfect release. Without a backward glance, summer is off.